Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. And once again we have on Omer Mannan, but this time coming on for Top Deck rather than Top Keck, and once again featuring Zefra. This is the Zefra Duo FTK deck. Pretty much just a Zefra deck with a few minor changes to it, and with this he took top 16 at the Leeds regional last weekend. So let's run through the list then. Triple Zefra, triple Master Cerberus, double Jackal King, triple Zefranui, 2 Darkworm, 3 Chronograph Sorcerer, 1 Time Gazer, 1 Destrudo, the 1 Duo, 1 Gate Zero, then 1 Zefra Thuban, a Zefra Exciton, a Zefra Wendy, and a Zefraxi. A triple Dragon Shrine, 1 Foolish, 1 E-Telly, 1 Terraforming, triple Zefra Providence, which is your essential search card, triple Called by the Grave, triple Oracle of Zefra, 1 Dragon Shrine, 1 Zefra War, 1 Divine Strike, and 1 9 Pillars of the Yangzing for when you just want to set up those negate boards. For the extra deck, we have Electromite, Decode, Summon Sorceress, 1 Agave Dragon, Stardust Charge Warrior, Metaphysaurus, Dawn Dragster, Meteor Burst, Yahtzee, Xiaofeng, Beatrice, Gaia Dragon, Absolute, Flare Metal for the FTK, and Vortex. Then in the side deck, double Lancia, double Border, triple Droll, double Trap Eater, double Denko, double Effect Veiler, and double Zombie World. So that is it for the list. Let's get Omer's comments, and we actually have a full round by round breakdown, so let's run through that first. So round 1 was against Altergeist, and he went 2-0 here. So game 1 he was able to FTK. Nearing the end of the combo, the opponent asked if he was getting FTK'd, and responded by putting a thumb up and a finger pretty close to it and saying just a little bit. The opponent then began to enter the side deck while the FTK was finished off. But not knowing what Omer was playing against, he decided to just put in the Drolls as a safe option, which obviously isn't super great in this particular matchup. So game 2, the opponent goes first, activates Duality. So there's a Droll here, at which point the opponent grabs a trap and summons Marionetta, sets Protocol and passes, but it's really not enough, and Omer can just OTK straight through this. Then against BA, going 1-2. Lost the die roll here, the opponent out-resources in game 1, and he can't set up the FTK, so he just puts up a board with a Jackal and 2 negates in game 2. And then in game 3 the opponent ended on like double Hydrolander, and Omer didn't really open a particularly wonderful hand, so just got struck out by those 2 Hydrolanders really. In round 3 going up against Trickstar, a fairly easy matchup for a big Pendulum deck like this, so going 2-0 here. Lost the die roll, but was forced to go first by the Trickstar player actually. So opened Zefra, Providence, Oracle, and 2 Called by the Graves. So activated the Oracle, gets hit by an Ash, which gets called by. And then from Zefra, the opponent uses a Ghost Ogre, so the second Called by hits that, and the opponent has basically nothing. So just gets ruined by the standard Zefra combos, setting up the multiple negates there. And then in game 2, the opponent opened double Licorice, Light Stage, and Reincarnation, which is pretty strong. So Omer starts setting spells one by one and choosing not to search until he has the advantage to play through a Reincarnation. But the opponent uses it when he searches for a Cerberus, banishing a Zefraxi and a Jackal. So Omer is able to draw a Called by, which was then used to try to use when the opponent tried to Ghost Ogre the Zefroth again. So he just wants to say that he thoroughly apologizes because that was entirely just luck on his behalf. Then in the next round against Altergeist, going 2-1 here against Omar Mahmood, so an Omer mirror match. In game 1 he won the die roll, opened 3 negates with Jackal and all 3 of the Zefra Yangzing traps basically, so kind of busted there. In game 2 the opponent used Duality into Warning, sets 2 and then summons Marionetta, setting a Protocol, but there's just a Denko straight in from Omer, from this Omer, and then Zefra Omer decided to normal summon the Denko and proceeded to place it straight into the graveyard. The opponent then responded with damn it, and this Omer said, I thought you were going to Warning it, and the opponent said, oh yeah, and then just flips Warning, forgetting that he entirely had that card. So that play was allowed to go through essentially, and just from there this Omer, Zefra Omer, ended up losing that game. But in game 3, he does the full Zefra combo, ending on Electromite Jackal with 2 counters and Zefranry, and then normal summons the Denko and passes, which the opponent obviously cannot play through. So going into the next round against Usman, so Sayuja Turbo here, going 1-2. Just the comments here saying it's kind of hard to play a Pendulum deck when the opponent ends with something like Christia and a Nat Beast or a Quasar. So excited about this Quasar thing. I don't think I've seen that before. That would be pretty interesting to see if it comes up. Then Thunder Dragons in the next round, going 2-1. Game 1, Omer won through Negates and Disruption. Game 2, Super Brick opening with loads of one-offs. And in Game 3, both players brick really hard, so there's a solid beatdown with Gelen Duo actually. And then into the next round, BA 2-1 here. Close games, but the opponent ended up bricking Game 3 after stopping the FTK with the cherries. So shoutouts to Kyan for a great game to end the day on. And additional shoutouts to Dale Hawks and Matthew Harris for lending the additional cards, the third Dragon Shrine and the Veilers. So a few comments on the deck. If anything, he says the deck is probably one of the most fair FTKs out there. It's inconsistent, easily stopped, and basically a standard Zefra deck, with the exception of having a Gelen Duo mained, which makes it have the potential to FTK, but it doesn't really happen very often. It's not a consistent FTK because throughout the 7 rounds of the regional, he was actually only able to FTK his round 1 opponent in game 1, and no other time except in round 7, where the opponent in game 3 where the opponent cherries the Summerstalk, so it couldn't happen anyway. So he ended on a small Zefra board. To summarise, really, he thinks that he's just playing a Zefra deck with a 1-card extra engine, essentially, that enables an FTK. As for the typical questions, I asked him how the event was overall. He said it was very good, especially since it was a last-minute one, due to another shop having double booked a venue, so the regionals couldn't take place there, and the Geeks Retreat stepped in and saved the day. Then why did he decide to play Zefra for this event? He says he needed to qualify for Euros, so he just decided to play something pretty degenerate. In terms of the flexibility available here, I just wanted to know which cards contributed towards potential flex slots, and what are some other options. He says if you open Darkworm access, Zephyroth access, and Chrono Cerberus, you have the FTK, but there are many other ways to get there. As a result, you can change things up a bit. An example is with the 2 Chronographs and a Dragon Shrine, which he believes was shown to him by Matthew Parkin. So when you don't FTK, a typical end board in turn 1 is something like just a normal Zephyr board, so you have 2 or 3 negates, you have scales up, and your negates are generated by your traps. The deck was probably just mostly just built in order to FTK and grant access to an easy qualification spot for Euros. Thunder Dragons is easily the worst matchup here, but he was lucky that he only faced one in the tournament, so when that did happen, they both bricked, and he was able to just play through there because of having a more sort of reliable ability to keep on using those resources over and over again. As for further changes that he'd make to the list going ahead, he would probably cut Ravine and Terraforming, swapping them for maybe Gammas and a Driver, just to make the deck a little bit more solid in going second matchups, and when you're searching off all of your search spells. That does increase the size of the deck just a little bit there. So thanks very much, Omer, for coming on and showing us your Zefra deck once again, but this time boosted up to have the slight potential to FTK twice in a 7-round event, but still very impressive, and great to see you doing so well with this, and congratulations on getting your invite. Thanks for watching this episode of Top Deck. If you have any comments or suggestions that you would like to make, leave them in the comment section down below. Check out the description for details of how you can get involved in this series. You can enter by voice interview, or instead you could just send all of your information over Facebook Messenger. Anything like that will be absolutely fine. If you want to see anything in particular from the upcoming series, then be sure to get in touch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.